Hi, welcome to the Be Courageous Online Summit. My name is Tracy Tadero. I'm a self-love mentor and life coach. And the intention of this summit is to provide encouragement, love, and support to anybody who's going through times of adversity and turmoil. And today we have a very special guest, Darlene Santore, also known as Coach Dar. Coach Dar is a business executive, occupational therapist, author, and speaker. She's passionate about helping people break through barriers to achieve their goals. Recently named Senior Fellow of Path North, an organization comprised of world leaders and CEOs of Fortune 100 companies, her powerful message continues to reach a global audience. As a mental and conditioning coach, she blends the knowledge of science, psychology, and achievement with her personal passion for life. Coach Dar is a trailblazer for Phoenix women and was awarded the most inspiring woman from the WNBA. She has helped people say no to the status quo, to raise the bar in their lives, to break free so they can break through, and to reignite their hearts to live a purposeful life. Welcome, Coach Dar.
Thanks, Tracy. I'm so glad to be on, and I was very honored when you asked me, and I'm so glad that I could find the time and we can make this happen, because you are just getting to know you. You have such a beautiful heart, and this is such a beautiful thing that you're doing to allow people to have this opportunity.
Thank you, and I'm so happy. I know you're busy. Thank you for making the time to do this and share your message with everybody who's watching.
Thank you.
We all need it. We all need it right now. It's crazy, right?
Yes, Zig Ziglar said motivation's like bathing. You've got to do it every day. So
Oh, I love that.
We constantly need to be our mind to be fed.
Yeah, and this is a great opportunity, and people can just watch it and take what they need from it, leave the rest, right?
Right.
So I understand that you are big into helping people level up their mindset to impact themselves and people around them. So share with us what that looks like to you.
So in my world, I've been a therapist for 23 years, and I have found that in our space, we're always looking at what are the patterns that helped. And it's usually the mindset. People, the first thing that they count themselves is themselves. They count themselves out. And so often my role in helping people is getting them to kind of get out of their own way, to have the confidence they need to reach their peak potential. Because we already have the greatness and the gift within us. So it's reminding people of that and then leveling up their mindset. So with each level you go requires a new way of thinking of how you're doing it, because you'll psych yourself out for every level. So the more I could come along and help you level up that mindset to meet where you are, then you're going to help level up your impact, which is ultimately what you want, whether it's in your performance, the community, the people around you. And we know that if you fill yourself with the right tools, then you can do anything you set your mind to. So it's constant, that I'm their constant advisor and coach that comes and helps level up their mindset to do that.
Well, and I think it comes down to, like you said, in every area of your life, right? Even as a parent.
Yes.
You constantly want to be leveling up. I got 3 kids of my own, and I know what that's like. It's like you just want to continue to keep being better. And you're shedding away these old skins, right, to become something new.
And it's not about the whole thing with this is people say, Dar, I'm already exhausted. I said, first of all, this isn't about doing more. It's about doing what you do really well. So even as a parent, I know it's really hard, or even in relationship or whatever it may be. It's how could you be 1% better each day? Not perfection. This is not about perfection. Just make progress and say, how am I going to be better? Being aware of how you want to show up for the day. And so you're not getting exhausted. It's about doing what you do well. So less could be more, but then take what you do really well. So when you look at people in sports, you're not going to take an amazing point guard or shooting guard and try to make them a better center. You're going to make them do really well what they do. And if they shoot 3-point shots well, then continue to help them develop that. So we're not going to give them multiple tasks. We're going to keep them on that task. So whatever it is for you, refine that task, but you don't have to add on 50 to do. You do really well, and the consistent things, do them really well. So smaller or simple could be better. We don't always have to think about adding too much. You can't be all things to all people.
This is true. And I love how you say even 1%, because we do, as humans, we want the end result, right? And we want to
Yes.
50% at least, but 1% it's all it takes, right? Just taking that
Yes.
one little, whatever it looks like, and making a change and being different than
Right.
the day before.
Right.
Share with us the 90-10 factor that you take into consideration when you're coaching.
So often people, when we're working together, they're trying to do a lot of even physical things or whatever it may be. And I'll say, if you look at your career or your role or what you're doing, would you say that 90% of it is mental and 10% is the physical? And they'll say, yes. I'll say, but you're doing 90% of the physical lifting and you're doing 10% of the mental. So if I look at what's your morning routine, it's do, get it done. And you haven't done anything on the mental to get yourself mentally prepared. You go into your job and you're trying to set up all of these different, which is important, all of these different plans, but you haven't even mentally thought about what does your customer think? What are you thinking? What's the mental side and emotional side of this? And so it used to be this 80-20, and I've now said it's the 90-10. And so much of life is 90% mental, 10% on the physical or the task part. Those task part, when you're gifted at something, you automatically are going to do well at that. But 90% of it, often there's problems because you haven't committed to either the communication, the emotional side, the mental side, relationships. It's like 90% of it is mental because there's a breakdown in communication or how you feel, right? But you're trying to just do instead of working on the things that you actually need to. So I just say when I'm starting with someone, I want to start with you giving 90% of your time to the mental right when you wake up. Right when you get up, I want you to start filling yourself, whether that's meditation, whether that's affirmations, whether that's journaling, whether that's I set an alarm right to a song that gets me ready to go right in the morning. Like, you literally have to start thinking about the mental game of things, because when people actually get hurt or triggered, whether it's in work, relationships, home, it's because of some sort of emotional trigger. You have not mentally cleansed. You haven't worked on something. So you're trying to get further, right, through doing, but you haven't worked on the mental part of it. You haven't done a cleanse. You haven't done an emotional cleanse. So we're so often worried about doing, and we're not worried on working on the mental part of being. And if we would do that, we would actually show up better, and you'd realize that you could go faster, stronger, and better because you mentally got your foundation right. So the 90-10 rule is that honestly, most stuff is mental. 90% is mental, 10% is the physical. And in sports, where I coach a ton on, that's where I say, like, once you get to the pros, do you think we have to keep working on your skills, but you're already at the pros, you're the 1%. So what's going to be the competitive advantage? It's going to be your mental game. 90% of that is either going to count you out or put you to the playoffs.
That makes perfect sense. And I think, and you can confirm or deny this, but it's a habit too of creating that. Like, people start thinking, oh, okay, if I just start saying this for a few days, wait, I'm not seeing change in my life. What is the time frame it takes to really get that incorporating into your external world?
Right. We hear this all the time, and people are like, I've heard this. And I'll say, okay, you've heard it, but are you implementing it? I mean, you have to actually physically move for you to be physically healthy. You know that, but you buy every book to try to tell you something new about health, everything about what could you eat that's going to make you feel better or lose weight. And the basic principles are move more, consume the right amount based on where you are, and you're going to be okay. But we want to try to figure it out. We're making it more complex than it needs to be. So if you already know that, you have to put that time into your physical health, the same as for your mental. And if you do that, you actually will feel better. And it's, just like when you physically work out, you feel better, but the moment you stop, you don't feel as good. Well, it's because they go hand in hand. The same with your mental preparation, which is if you do these things consistently to work on your mental well-being, you truly will feel better. And the moment you stop, it's not going to be that you feel it that day, but it's going to be days or weeks out, and you're like, I feel off. It's because you didn't pour into what you needed to. That helps you.
So you talk a lot about mental capital. What does that look like?
So this is all building on each other in the sense that we're so we look a lot to, like, how can we accumulate wealth? How can we accumulate things? How can we build And I'll say, you know what? If you would just focus first on building your mental wealth, WELLTH is the verbiage that I use. And so my role is to help people increase their mental capital, because if you have more mental capital, which is doing the things we said consistently, when hard times hit and you need to make withdrawals, you're that much stronger and you rebound faster. And let's just look at it at a true financial standpoint. If you're going through tough times, but you've saved really well, and then you get hit or you lose something, you go, okay, well, I know I have enough in my savings. I've built up the capital that I could have some withdrawals and I'm not going to feel a huge hit. Well, the same goes for our mental capital. I want you to keep building this deposit in here every day. So when something happens and you pull from it, you're not going right to zero. You're pulling from it, but then you could rebound faster. And in my world, I've been, like I said, for 23 years helping people. And I started taking care of traumatic brain injury patients when I started out. And we used to have to overcome some extreme odds. And we did. And then in my world, I've had 3 strokes. And in this, I could say to you, this last one that happened 2 years ago, it was one of the hardest hitting, but I rebound from it better because of all the mental capital that I have put in to making myself mentally agile and strong and do the things I need to that I would teach anyone. It was the greatest thing that I could have done, and physical too, to come back faster. So if you want to actually make it through these challenges, because this, by the way, this one isn't the last one. This isn't going to be the last one in our lifetime that we ever go through. What it's going to look like, we don't know. We know that we're going to face obstacles. So wouldn't you want to be more mentally resilient and start building now so you could handle the next hit better? And there's no reason you can't start today. And if you haven't done it well before, okay, no problem. Start today and start building on it. Because every day you build that 1% more on it means you're going to be that much stronger. And a year from now, instead of saying I should have done it and it's all in or out, you'll be 300, and 65% better, which is probably going to be a lot better than you would have been if you just tried to go 100% and then you're going to be frustrated and be done with it. So build your mental capital. I'm so big on this because these are the things that actually create true wealth, because we will have our mental well-being optimal. We will probably have our physical well-being as optimal as we can. And then our relationships are going to be better because we will show up better. We're not going to be as insecure. We're not going to be triggered by things. We're going to be more joyful and in flow. And who doesn't want to be around a person that when you're around them, you're just like, you feel so good to be around. Your energy feels so clean and good. It's because you did the work. And then you're going to be able to have better relationships. So when people look at what wealth is, that's the real wealth when you have that. So that's what that means.
That is, I love that. I mean, that's truly at the end of the day. And like you said, people being able to feel that, feeling that energy that's radiating out of you and how you're responding to situations. And this pandemic definitely caused everybody to look at every type of quote bank account, right? Emotional, mental, financial. And what you're seeing, we went through something similar in 2008 when the stock market crashed. And so this is, evidence of the resilience that people have built at that time. I mean, what are you seeing in a lot of people that you deal with in the shift between 2008 and now?
The people that did the work in 2008 are definitely handling this a lot better. Listen, it doesn't mean it hurts. It comes with its own set of challenges, but we're mentally more prepared. You could lose money. You could lose your job. You could lose even loved ones. I mean, I've lost my mom in August before this and had the stroke just before that. And I literally started my own practice in 2008. I left a very, very, by the world standards, very successful job to start a practice because I saw people in 2008 literally like losing their marbles, saying like, I can't do this. And I'm like, yes, you can. I've helped people with half their brain, literally like traumatic brain injury, overcome their odds. We've got this. We can do this. And so you help people and you bring them through that and you teach the strategies. And so the people that have been working on it all this time, you'll see that they're the ones going, you know what, this hurts, but I've gotten the tools. I have the tools and know what to do. So yes, I may be out of a job, but now I have to think, okay, they didn't take my gift away from me. They took the job away, but I still have the same talent. So how do I pivot? Where do I need to go? Some days you're going to have more energy to go after it than others. Don't beat yourself up. It's like taking oxygen. And so the next day that you have it, you just got to say, I'm going to get up and I'm going to give it my best the next day. The reason you know about anyone successful in life is because they never gave up. The only reason you know about the greats and who they are is because they didn't give up. Doesn't mean they didn't have challenges. They had a lot of failures. I mean, how many people have you heard that have gone bankrupt and came back and created a great company? That have actually, I mean, people that have had extreme physical challenges and came back and won championships or whatever it may be. There are many great success stories, but because they're a great success story and the best 30 for 30 story is because they didn't give up. So for you, do the work, start working on your mental game now so that you could get through this, and then we'll be prepared for what comes.
Well, and it's like a race, right? Like, you're going to fall down, you keep going, and you're just getting closer to the finish line. You may have some scratches on your knees or your hands, but you just keep going, and you're never starting back at where you were. I mean, it could be a reset, right? Like everybody's getting a reset right now. How are you going to proceed with that?
Right. And it's like building muscle. Once you build the muscle, it tears and it builds back up. And what it does is it gets bigger. So now you could stand on this bigger muscle with it being stronger and tougher and better. So you're actually higher up. That's when you build muscle, every time you shred it, when you're working it out, it's because it's going to repair it to get bigger. Well, that's what we do with our mental muscle, and we get that much stronger. And so we are stronger. We are better because of it.
Perfect. So what sort of expertise can you share when people are, a lot of people are coming up with these great ideas and great business plans and, wanting to follow their heart or create something new and be really innovative. And I know those positive thoughts and those new beginnings people get a lot of resistance to that.
Sure.
Can you provide some words of advice to help people get through those points where they see something and it's almost the fear of success is getting in their way?
So, when you start to go do something that you get excited about and you're like, I really think this could be the next business that I could try, or the next thing that I could do, or even that better, the relationship, whatever. And then you go for it and you start to get the naysayers externally and internally, meaning you start to be your own naysayer and then you hear it. And when you're in that space where you literally have to keep blinders on, like in the Kentucky Derby with the horses, they have the blinders on so they can get to the finish line. It is hard, but you have to put those blinders on, both for you internally and externally. And what I mean by that is, that's why you have to start building yourself where you're listening to something motivational, you're a podcast, and you're keeping yourself motivated to say, I'm going to go after this. Because if you don't, the moment you hear one naysayer outside, you already were your first critic. Now you just need someone else there, and they technically validate what you've been telling yourself from a negative standpoint. And you're like, you know what, maybe I should just close it down. It's not worth it. And you call yourself out of the game before you were supposed to, because you weren't mentally putting up the blockers that you needed to, so that when you heard the naysayer, you weren't like, you know what, I hear you, but I don't receive that. I'm not even taking that in. And I'm going to go back to sports because I coach in sports, which is, we have players trying to make it to the World Series or the NBA Finals or the Stanley Cup. Every day they get judged on their performance by the world, and they have naysayers every day. Do you think, one, yes, they hear it, but we work on it so that it doesn't affect them? Because if it did, they could not get up and do their game. Then they couldn't show up for the next game. So what they do is they put on the blockers. Why? Because they have a way bigger goal than when one person writing on the computer has to say about them. So when you go up and you know that you have something bigger that you're going to do, you fill yourself and you believe in the why. You stay true to the why. So when you get the naysayer that comes to you and says, you'll never be able to do this, this is such a silly idea, why would you even think you could do this? There's already something even like that. You believe that what you have is going to help someone else's life. Whatever we do has a reason. We're serving. So when you connect to the bigger why, you're going to hear people, but you're going to go, you know what? If Einstein didn't create what he created, we would have never what he had, right? If we never had what Thomas Edison, we wouldn't have had his, thank gosh we had his idea, right? We wouldn't have electricity and light. But then you think of Oprah, you think of all the famous failures. They could have given up and not gotten to the point of success if they listened to the people that told them they weren't good enough. I mean, and I want to say this because it comes to self-doubt. Do you realize when someone tells you that you can't, it's just another human being's opinion? It's their opinion. Why are you going to let a person's opinion take you out of the game? You have to convince yourself, and you do that every day, and then you let the rest take care. You could take corrective criticism in the sense of, hey, what if you did this better? Or have you thought about this? You're aware of what they're saying. You're taking that as information. That's the difference. Instead of taking it personal, you're taking it in as data. When you take it in as data, then you're like, oh, what can I learn from that? Because if maybe they do have a corrective criticism where I didn't think about that, but it doesn't take you out of the game completely. It just says, how do you make that better? It's information. And when you do that, you are stronger and you have more confidence because now it's not personal. Everything is just feeding you information to get better. So I don't know if that answers that for what exactly we're asking, but I think when people are trying to get to success, it's their self-doubt, and then it's the external things or self-sabotage, and then it's the external people that as soon as they get one person that just is like, yeah, that won't work, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it won't work. I should just stop now. No way.
It's true. I mean, you have to just hold on to that idea or that dream and just surround yourself, like you said, surround yourself with people who are going to encourage that. And there's always going to be naysayers. I was looking on YouTube, Beethoven's Fifth. Do you not think that there's negative comments on YouTube about that beautiful piece of music that has been around for how long? And it just, when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, there's
the most beautiful music. Every great person has had multiple people that told them that they couldn't. Multiple. I mean, we're watching the Jordan series that Last Dance is on right now. And Michael Jordan was caught in high school, told he wasn't good enough. I mean, we would have never had Michael Jordan in sports. Some coach told him he was not good enough. Like, are you crazy? That's, again, I'm going to go back to, that's a human being's opinion. That doesn't mean it's fact. And so don't take opinions for fact.
Yeah, I think didn't J.K. Rowling have the same? I think she went to
turn down.
Yeah, and it's you keep going and persevere. So what? Let me see. I guess you personally, Coach Dar, I'd love to know like about a time in your life where you had to lean into the fear to get you through a time of adversity.
Lean into the fear,
or whatever you did with the fear.
I don't say I would lean into, I mean, I guess I would say it was more of when I've gone through tough times in my life, I've known that fear is there, that is very real, meaning I'm feeling something, but that's when I lean into my faith. I lean into my faith to overcome my fear. And it's not that it's the expression. It's not that I'm completely, that there's no fear. It's just that I'm fearing fear less. I'm using my faith to have more courage to overcome that fear. So I have more faith power than I have fear power. Because if you let the power of fear come in, it'll paralyze you. But if you have the power of faith, you can overcome it. And so that's what's gotten me through really hard times. I mean, I had my first stroke at 25 when I went to a chiropractor and they manipulated my neck. They ripped the artery to my brain and it left me with a blood clot, and it changed. I couldn't have kids, and it changed my life and a trajectory of things, but I didn't give up. It actually, what that did is I was left with a blood clot that they said, if this blood clot dislodges, you could die any day. I was like, well, okay, if I could go any day, then I don't really have fear because I'm just going to go live life and I'm going to go help people live their life. And it was one of the greatest things where they were telling you, don't cough too hard, don't do this, all the things like to make you scared to actually mobilize. And I know as a therapist and what I do, that's the worst thing you want to do. When you create such fear that you get immobile, that's where depression sets in and it starts to get worse and it eats at you. You need to be able to take the information, be smart about it, and then create momentum. That's why in this COVID challenge right now, people are having such a hard time because they're having a hard time creating momentum right now because they're feeling so stuck. So you have to try to find ways of what are small ways you could have small wins of momentum for the day. What made you feel like you were contributing and growing for the day? Because if you feel that, then it will take away more of the fear because you have more momentum. And once you feel like you're contributing and something was purposeful, like even this, being on this today, I was so grateful to do it because I know that helps create momentum where I get to share a gift rather than just sit and be stuck and there's no outlet for it. So find an outlet and that'll allow you to keep going. So I have definitely not been without adversity. I've had a lot of adversity. I've helped people through adversity, which is kind of where when I help people peak perform to their highest level, that means the higher up you go, the more adversity you're going to face. And I don't look at it as something that's going to hold me back. Or anyone I work with, I just say, okay, this hit us. It might really stink, but what are we going to do about it? How do we shift? And the more I can get people to be agile and their emotions and their mentality, to say mentally and emotionally agile, the better we'll be. And then if they do have some sort of faith, whatever it is, I'm very clear about this. You have to try to believe in something bigger than you, because otherwise you're going to lose hope. It's going to be like, well, what am I even doing this for? I pray that you find that whatever, and again, that could be whatever it is to you. But if you know there's something bigger that you're showing up for, then it allows you to get through this, because my whole world is that I know I'm here to serve. So when I get up in the morning, what do I need to do to serve? And then and I know adversity is coming. It's not about living in this Pollyanna world where, hey, I'm positive all the time. I keep my mind frame in that, because when it hits and I get down, I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? You have that realistic, optimistic attitude, but you know problems are going to come. So when they come, how do you handle them? Rather than going, I can't believe we've got another problem. It's going, well, we do. And so what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, it's the peaks and valleys. They are forever going to be there. And it's just like you said.
It's life.
It is life. And how are you going to be resilient and getting through those? And I agree with what you're saying about having something bigger to believe in, because it's like, that's when you were talking about, going through with the stroke and holding on to, just trusting, right? Trusting.
Yeah.
Like there's something bigger. There's some bigger plan. There's something that's, helping me through this and getting me along. And
yeah, yes, we have to lead with purpose-driven mindset, because so many people are performance-driven. I'm going to get to this. When I get to this, when I have this title, when I have this home, when I win the title, whatever it is. And when you get it, I'm telling you, it's great. It's a good feeling for a moment, but it doesn't sustain. So it doesn't mean that you don't go after and setting these amazing, epic goals, but you better have a purpose bigger than just that one goal, because when you achieve that goal is going to be done. Then what's next, right? You'll always be chasing a carrot rather than just pursuing your purpose. So my purpose is to awaken greatness in people. Clients will say you help people get out of their own beeping way, meaning they get confidence. And so I'll say, yeah, that's by me getting you out of your own head so that you could actually awaken the greatness that's within you and reach your potential. But that doesn't matter what my role is. I still get to do that, right? Every day I could be standing in the Starbucks line 6 feet away, but I could be standing there and I could say to someone like, if they have how are you? And I could give them good energy and I could help them feel better just by my presence, right? That's awakening greatness. Or it could be to the extreme of a player is about to go to the finals and I have to make sure they're all in. What I'm saying is it could be on any spectrum, but my purpose did not change and how I showed up. I was helping them to achieve that. And when you have a purpose-driven mindset, like even in COVID right now, I'm like, okay, where do we got to serve? How do we have to help people? You are able to flow better when you're in progress and purpose, but with perfectionism and performance, you'll stay in anxiety.
Yeah. And we all have that light inside of us. We all have it, right? It might just be a flickering little dim light, but we can ignite it. And that's what you do. And I'm like, I'm so honored that you're here, because you're sharing with people that is inside of them and that they can access that. And I think a lot of people are like, oh no, that's not me. I don't have that, because they're depressed or whatever. And it's feeding the two wolves, right? You've got the friendly wolf and then the vicious wolf. Which wolf are you feeding, right?
Yep. I want people that if you're hearing this right now and you are in a really tough space and you're feeling really depressed and you're like, lady, I can't even get up right now. I've been there. After my first stroke, it was like not right away, but it was a couple of years after when I finally stopped and I felt the pain, because I was numbing the pain from just work. So I didn't feel it. When I stopped, I felt what it felt like to not be able to get up, because I felt all the emotions of things. And it was my sister came in and she said, God did not give you new life to isolate or go back to old ways. Like, you have got a gift. You need to get up and I prayed on it. And I, for me, got a message. It literally, it was a BlackBerry then. The BlackBerry went off and it said the exact thing she had just said. And I was like, what? And I'd asked for a sign. I said, I can't do this on my own strength. And we're not able to do it on our own strength. So I got this message. I got up the next day and I've never looked back. But my point was, I know what you're feeling. And I know because of the people I help too, when you get stuck like this, the only way out of it is to actually get up and keep trying. If you stay down, you don't have a chance to get back up, right? But if you get up and you try, that was at least a little bit more momentum. And all of these things that me and other people are sharing with you, you have to do something for moving your physical. You have to work on your mental and listen to something. You could be on the couch going, I don't want to do this. And I'll encourage you to say, listen to something positive even when you don't want to, because sometimes it's just that one word you needed to hear that shifts your whole mindset, which could shift your life.
It's little things, right? If we're open, to listening. And that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with our viewers, what you said, those words of encouragement. And that's what people need to hear. It's like, we get it. I mean, everybody's going through it at a different level, but we're all experiencing, the same circumstances and uncertainty of what's going to come. And so thank you. And
You're welcome.
Something that I did the other day, I got up, I go for a run every morning just to keep moving, and I was kind of like feeling a little bit of a heavier emotion, and I had my phone, and what popped up was a laughing baby.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
I watched that, and it just caused me to giggle. And I was like, that is the sweetest thing ever.
Yes. Yeah, and it changed your state.
Changed my state. And so back to what you're saying about leveling up, it can be something so simple like that.
Yes.
And then just keep the momentum.
Don't feed the negative. Don't listen to sad songs. Don't watch movies that are going to depress you. You literally have to discipline yourself, because when you're in that space, you don't necessarily go to look for the good, but your example was exactly that. You actually seek it, because once you just saw that laughing baby, it changed the state in your brain, and it helped you feel that emotion of joy for a moment. And then you remembered that you have that within you. You just have to pull it out.
That's it. It was powerful. And, we have access to so much. Like, there's a library right in front of us on our computers, and with YouTube, right? They can look up, for our viewers, look up a video on, an inspirational talk video or motivational story or motivational speeches. I mean, they will raise your vibration, and you will feel a little shift. It may be small, but you will feel it. And so, as Coach Dar was talking about, just 1% and get that going, right?
Right. Don't give up. Please just don't give up. We will overcome this. You can do it. You just have to make the choice every day. It's a choice to take action. It's a choice to have a better mindset. It's a choice to do this. But if you don't make the choice, then nothing changes. And so in order to get on the other side, we have to make the choice to actually take action and do something about it. So do it. Just do it.
Yay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Suffering is a choice. Suffering is a choice.
Yes. Don't do it.
Choose the good. Choose the good. Any final words, any special mantra, anything you'd like to share with our audience before we close out?
I think that people sometimes get, like I said, in that space where you could get in the hamster wheel where you just stay on it and you're thinking these negative thoughts. And so just be careful of what's around you and what you're listening to and what you fill your mind with. I studied, my neurology is my background, but this is a brain model. What you fill yourself up with, this right here, will propel you forward or pull you back. So every day, fill your mind up with something that's going to help you and propel you forward, and that means people, places, things, music, movies, everything affects this. So fill it with the right things so you could actually propel forward and through this, and you will thrive, because when you level up your mindset, you level up your impact and you feel better.
Powerful. Thank you for those final words.
You're welcome.
So great. And I know you've got a free gift available for our viewers if they go to your website. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yes. If you go to CoachDar.com, it's a free ebook that I wrote, which is 101 coaching tips. So you'll get a coaching tip and a quote that'll just inspire you. And like I said, sometimes you just need that one positive message that helps put you in the right state. So that's free for you to download. And you could also there's courses on the website too that are just starting to go up there. And it's like TED Talk style, super easy, engaging. I don't like to listen to long things either. So it's quick, to the point. You can get what you need. So those are on there too. And then from a social standpoint, I share pay it forward inspiration every single day. So if you go to, like, Instagram is at the Coach Dar, it's THE and then Coach Dar. You could just go on, and my website has all my social handles, but go on social and stay connected with me. Definitely stay connected and follow along, because my whole purpose when I had set up social years ago was I was going to use this as a tool to help people feel better. So you could go on and you'll get inspired, and you'll get they call it a dose of Dar, or as John Gordon says, who I love, your vitamin C for every day.
I love it. And your energy is amazing. And I know people can feel that. And you know what? It's like, that's what we want to be drawn to. That's what we want to surround ourselves with. And even if it is an Instagram post or a little quick YouTube,
right,
those little things will start to shift your energy and move you forward, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So stay connected, and thank you, Tracy, for having me on.
Thank you so much, Coach Dar. This is amazing. And to all our audience, I'm on their behalf. Thank you for your time during this, busy time for you as well. And, I just say to our audience, in the meantime, continue to be courageous. And we are now signing off with love and light.
Bye.
Bye.